Salah's big bet, a threat heading for Spurs and Walcott vs Gunnersaurus, 10 things to look out for this weekend. Here we go again. A Premier League weekend which begins in West London and ends in the north of Captial promises several thrills and spills, with Chelsea and Liverpool each looking to protect their 100% records ahead of facing each other next week. 4 sides enter it looking for their first win of the campaign, while there are reunions and emotional returns all over the place in the 6th round of matches. Here are 10 things that you can keep an eye on across the course of the weekend. It has gone somewhat under the radar, but Fulham possess the leakiest defense in the Premier League this season. Or should that be defenses? Slavisa Jokanovic has rotated his goalkeeper and backline so much that dizziness could be a legitimate reason for the concession of 12 goals, even using Ryan Sessegnon, last season's attacking star, at left-back in last week's 3-0 defeat at Manchester City. It isn't in Jokanovic's nature to change his ways, but a settled defense and midfield in front of them could help see the Whites through a decent-looking upcoming fixture list over the next 6 weeks. As Mrbegovic turned heads when he claimed that Bournemouth's attacking trio of Ryan Fraser, Josh King and Callum Wilson are up there with Liverpool's front 3 when they are on form after the win over 4-2 Leicester last week, but you can see where he's coming from. The trio work as a kind of no-frills, own-brand version of Jurgen Klopp's men, buzzing around and creating danger wherever they go, and that will include at Turf Moor on Saturday. Burnley, winless and joyless, will have to beware. Given the way that Pep Guardiola likes to constantly mold and educate his players, there was air of them being allowed to do what they wanted under the substitute teacher at the Etihad on Wednesday night as Mikel Arteta presided over the 2-1 loss to Lyon. That will have sharpened minds ahead of this trip to Wales, and that could well be a good thing given the rough-and-tumble nature of what is likely to await them. Neil Warnock will know full well that his team aren't likely to get anything from the game and will have planned accordingly, but that doesn't mean he'll roll over and be the teacher's pet. Roy Hodgson once followed Rafael Benitez into a job, but you suspect he wouldn't want to do the same again given the ongoing battle for power on Tyneside. He also wouldn't have Wilfried Zaha on his side if he did that too. And all eyes will be on the wide man again following a curious week in his he's hit out at his treatment from officials and spoken at length about his frustrations and disappointments at Manchester United, which you suspect he still carries around with him. Back at Selhurst Park he'll have many more friends than enemies though, and that could spell bad news for Benitez. It has been a slow start to Leicester life for Johnny Evans, but this meeting between Foxes and Terriers could give him a chance to get his teeth into his new club. Wes Morgan is suspended after being sent off during last week's defensive horror show at Bournemouth, where Harry Maguire looked all at sea and could easily have gone the same way. A home clash with a Huddersfield side seemingly trudging towards a long, hard season could be the perfect chance for Evans to bed in. If Mo Salah's up-and-down start to the season has been one cluttered with unhelpful thoughts about injuries or international gripes, at least he'll have one thing less to worry about here. The Egyptian made a bet with Danny Ings in the summer over which one would score more goals this season, with Southampton's Ings currently 3-2 ahead after he scored a penalty against Brighton on Monday night. But as he's still technically on loan from a Liverpool side he'll never turn out for again, Ings can't play against his parent club at Anfield, leaving the way clear for Salah to level up or perhaps even surpass his old teammate. He could do with a goal or two as well. As his substitute goalkeeper, Nuno Espirito Santo sat right next to Porto boss Jose Mourinho for his 2 breakout triumphs, the victories in the UEFA Cup and Champions League finals of 2003 and 2004. Now in opposing dugouts, Nuno is bringing a newly promoted team in nothing but name to take on Mourinho's recently resurgent Manchester United side. And he'll bring them in good spirits. Back-to-back 1-0 victories either side of the international break have got Wolves up and running in Premier League company, and while they might end up losing out on the day at Old Trafford they will certainly be relishing the test. The 3 successive defeats to Watford, Liverpool and Inter Milan all featured the same worrying theme for Tottenham, namely the concession of headed goals to set pieces. Troy Deeney, Craig Cathcart, Jorginho, Wijnaldum and Moses Vecino all soared above the Spurs' defense to nod home crucial goals, and deepen the sense of gloom around a Spurs side that it suddenly doesn't look very fun to play for. They'll probably be fine in the end, but in Shane Duffy Brighton have a defender who loves getting on the end of things, and has added goals to his game this season, scoring twice in the first 5 games. Maurizio Sarri's words about Alvaro Morata at full-time in Salonika on Thursday didn't sound too positive for the Chelsea forward. "I am not able to give him confidence," Sarri said. "I hope for him that in the future I can try to help him, but the confidence can come only with goals. But to get those goals you need to be on the pitch, and you sense that Morata could be dropped to the sidelines and replaced by Olivier Giroud for this trip to a suddenly awoken West Ham. Poor Finley Walcott. Theo's 4-year-old son will get to go back to the Emirates Stadium on Sunday, but he'll find his old man in direct competition with one of his heroes. He's always loved Gunnersaurus, so he finds it strange for me to be in blue now," Walcott the elder tells our own John Cross. He says, "Daddy, why are you in blue and where's Gunnersaurus?" A battle royale awaits, but Everton will have to play a lot better than they did last weekend if they want to upset Finley's favorite giant dinosaur.